some people struggle with motivation and being inspired, right, to take action. Some of you don't, but some people do. A lot of people do. Struggle with being motivated and inspired to take action, right? And believe it or not, even with you right now, the difference between you reaching your goals or doing the things that you wrote down 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is, the difference between you actually reaching those goals a lot of times is simply being motivated or inspired, right, to take action, right? A lot of times that's all it is. It's just being motivated, right, to take action. And we could examine for a moment, what's the reason for lack of motivation? What's the reason for lack of inspiration a lot of times with a lot of people when it comes to going after the things that they really want to do as opposed to doing things you don't want to be doing, right? A lot of times it comes from self-doubt. Self-doubt, I believe is one of the biggest culprits that steals your potential, right? And robs you of your potential and robs you of achieving your goals. Self-doubt, right? Fear, right? Which is right there next to self-doubt. Matter of fact, I think fear is really the biggest one, right? Because fear creates self-doubt, right? People are scared of different things, right? There are people who are scared of failing, right? There are people who are scared of success, right? So any which way you look at it, in most cases it's gonna be fear, right? Fear of what people might say if you fail. You don't want to look like a failure and things like that. And what people often resort to when they don't want to look like a failure is to try to look like a success, right? It's either one or the other, right? And how they do this is by not going after their goals and their dreams and stuff, right? Not pursuing because they know that there's a possibility that they might fail, right? Or might stumble, right? Along the way. And they don't want to appear as someone who doesn't know what they're doing and all of that, so they opt to look like they know what they're doing, right? Because I think people feel like when you don't fail at things, in some type of way, you're smarter if you don't fail at things. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, how are you smarter if you are never accomplishing what you really want to do, right? And matter of fact, in most cases, you might be even doing something you don't want to be doing. So how is that being smart, right? When you're not doing what you actually want to be doing, or I would go as far as to say what you're supposed to be doing, right? Because I personally believe that everyone has a purpose in life, something that they need to be pursuing and need to be doing, right? So again, people, so what people do is they resort to appearing smart by not ever making any mistakes and by not ever making any errors and things like that, right? But what they don't realize is while you look smart, right, you're not actually accomplishing anything and you're not actually an interesting person, right? You have to remember that people don't want to know how to fail. people want to know how to succeed. So if you are never not attempting to do things, is not succeeding, right? That's just compromising, and that's remaining the same, right? Because I could guarantee you can't show me, if you don't attempt anything, you're not going to accomplish anything. So you can't show me any results, right? You can hide behind the facade of I'm smart because I never fail at anything, right? But when comes time to show results, for accomplishing something, what results can you show? What results can you show if you don't ever attempt anything, right? Because you have to understand, it's like this morning while working out, I work out, I listen to motivational videos and stuff while I work out, just to keep me pumped and keep me going. And I heard Les Brown, said something. He was saying that nobody's gonna come hand you your dreams and your goals on a platter fulfilled. That doesn't happen. Anything you want to achieve, you have to move from just thinking about it. You have to move from being afraid of it, and you have to pursue it. Right? You can't misappropriate people's opinions, right? And you can't you can't think too much of people's opinion, and that's the honest truth. You can't, right? And that's what's driving a lot of people crazy. They're more interested in what people think of them, and they want to look smart, and they want to look, like they know what they're doing, as opposed to getting out there and going after something, failing at it, figuring it out, what I'm saying, and, really accomplishing some things, right, that they really want to. So it's important to have your mental priorities in the right place, right, in this life, in order to accomplish anything, right, in order to go after things, in order to pursue what you really want to do and make it happen, right? You have to get rid of the fear of failure. You have to get rid of the fear of criticism, the fear of what people think or don't think, or, if people are going to support or not support, or, all these different things that plague your mind. You have to gain control of your mind. And you have to be able to override all these different mental obstacles that will come, right? That will come. You have to learn to discipline your mind and get over the illusions that your mind places, in front of you. These obstacles. Because that's the thing, we do it to ourselves, right? It isn't necessarily anyone else, because the truth is, and the bottom line is, regardless of what people think, regardless of what people may say, the bottom line is, it boils down to you and what you think about yourself and what you're gonna do. You see what I'm saying? Because people are always gonna have an opinion. That never changes, right? And as long as you get that and understand that that's not gonna change, right? You're on your way. You know what I'm saying? And you're able to overcome all these petty things and overcome all these mental challenges and go after your goals. So what I wanted to talk about today is this little book that I wrote a few years ago, Positive Affirmations for Fitness, right? And the subheading says, transform your life using the mind power technique of other suggestion, right? And a question that I got when I wrote this book from a few people is, do you think positive affirmations will work for fitness? Some people were wondering, if it's necessary for fitness. And the truth is, positive affirmation or positive self-talk is never not necessary for anything, because positive self-talk is what it takes to drive yourself and motivate yourself in any aspect of life, really, any and every aspect of life, right? And I think what happens when people hear positive affirmations and positive self-talk and stuff like that is people start thinking about some type of magic or mumbo jumbo type stuff, which isn't true at all, right? Which isn't true, right? Positive affirmations, positive self-talk has nothing to do with a bunch of mumbo jumbo, just mumbling stuff and expecting it to happen magically, right? That's not what it is, and I think that's where people become confused and not want to have anything to do with stuff that deals with positive affirmations and stuff. And I think what's responsible for that mindset is a lot of things that has surfaced in the last few years when it comes to law of attraction and positive affirmations and stuff. I think a lot of people don't explain to people properly what these things actually mean, right? Positive self-talk and positive affirmation is simply a tool used to condition your brain, right? To condition your mind, right? On that particular thing, whatever it is you might be affirming. That's all it is. And studies have shown that when you constantly think about things or repeat things, what happens is in the background, your mind, your brain, your mind actually starts going to work as far as like coming up with ideas, right? Unconsciously, not even on a conscious level. I'm talking about unconsciously. Your mind start coming up with ideas to get it done, right? And with ideas on how to get started, ideas on what moves you need to make, right? Matter of fact, when you start thinking about things over and over and you start affirming things and talking about it, what happens is you might even, like example, right? You might want to start something, a particular thing, whatever it is, and if you start thinking about it and talking about it and affirming, you know what I'm saying? I am moving closer to such and such goal or whatever it is. You might go to sleep and wake up the next morning with an idea that just hits you on what first move you need to make. You may wake up with an idea, that is so profound that it can actually get you going. And it might be something that you didn't consciously think about, right? And this happens because when you keep things in your mind and you keep repeating things to yourself and repeating things, to your own mind, what happens is again, as I said earlier, your mind goes to work on a subconscious level, right? To start making things happen, right? And you start getting ideas you probably would have not gotten, right? If you were repeating things to yourself and talking to yourself and stuff like that, right? Another thing you have to understand is if you are not speaking positive things to yourself, right? This world has a lot of negativity. So if it's not positive, it's negative, right? And in a lot of cases, you will be getting your information from somewhere, right? And sadly, a lot of people get their talk, and their what I would say self-talk, but it's technically not self-talk. But a lot of people get their self-talk and their motivation from other people, right? And it might not even be things that actually serve you. You understand what I'm saying? Right? It'll be a bunch of negative information, a bunch of, talk about why something can't happen, why it may not be possible, and why it can't be done, and it can't this and it can't that and it can't the other. And what happens is, if you are not conditioning yourself, you're being conditioned by external forces. You're being conditioned by other people. You're being conditioned by other people's negativity, by other people's doubts and fears, right? If you are not countering these external negative influences, you could bet anything on it that it's going to influence your thinking. And this is why a lot of people have doubts and fears that, isn't even theirs. They haven't planted these doubts and fears in their own minds. It's planted by other influences, other people, and different negative things that they listen to and pay attention to. And a lot of times it may even be people close to you, right? I mean, you remember when you were in school, you know what I'm saying? When let's say you came to school, right? And you had some profound idea of something you wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? You mention it to your friends. And let's say your friends are pessimists, not optimists, or just negative people. What happens? They start telling you why it's not a good idea, or and even at times make fun of you, you know what I'm saying? And what happens if your mind isn't strong? You give into it, and you may actually set aside that idea, and you would never do it. How many people that has happened to? That has happened to me in the past, you know what I'm saying? Where you allow yourself to be influenced by other people's doubts, fears, and whatever else it is. So what I'm saying is, the way you counter negative impressions, right, and negative information, is by overriding it with your own information, feeding yourself your own positive information. You have to find a way to override it, right? Because if you're not feeding your mind positive stuff, you're going to be getting a lot of negative influence from outside, and you're going to be making decisions, right, that doesn't serve you, simply because of outside influences and outside negativity and stuff like that. So you have to override it by affirming your own positive self-talk, right, and stuff like that. You have to. So positive affirmations, it's no mumbo jumbo magic stuff or anything like that. And it's not that you're just gonna say things and it's gonna happen. That's not how it works. You're only affirming and reaffirming things so that your brain can get a hold of what it is, and your subconscious can start going to work and find ways of actually making it happen, and find ways of getting it done. That's simply what it is, right? So it's no magic stuff. One of the truest things, right? I mean, it's such a cliche saying, right? That for a lot of people, I'm sure it has little to no meaning. When they say that birds of a feather flock together, right? It's so cliche, right? But yet, it's one of the truest, quotes out there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a guarantee. I mean, it's guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Because we're social beings, and being social, what happens is, a lot of times we want to be accepted in our little groups, in social settings and stuff. And what happens is, as human beings, we have a natural inclination to do what people around us are doing, right? Because we want to belong, we want to be a part of something. So this is why it's important to make sure that you associate or be around people who are doing positive things and people who are positive, right? Because one way or the other, you're going to be influenced, because That's something we can't fight. That's something that we can't avoid. We're social beings, as I said. So we're always going to be looking for a setting where we fit in. So just make sure that you fit in the right places amongst the right people. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that you have the right influences. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be important moving forward, right? To surround yourself with the right influence, the right information, right? What I want to do moving forward is, I think I want to do a few sessions on this book, right? And just kind of go through the chapters that I wrote, because it's a very small book. It's not big at all. It has what? How many pages? 42 pages. But it's powerful, you know what I'm saying? So I want to go through this book chapter by chapter, right? And create a few videos just explaining, you know, the chapters, so that, and breaking it down, you know, so that you have an understanding of some of the things in this book. If you feel like you want to grab a copy of it, it's available on Amazon, all right? You can search for it by my name, Abbott Critchlow, or just by the name of the book, Positive Affirmations for Fitness. All right, and you'll find it. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Look out for my next video on this same talk on positive affirmations. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload the next video on this session, right? Or any video for that matter. I want to thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.